That's interesting. Tell me more about that. So growing up, did you feel that there were those self-limiting beliefs that were imposed on you or that were in your head from childhood? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, even not so much at the time, I didn't realize it was happening. So subconsciously it was going on. But when you reflect back, you can see certain things that made you think that you were going to be a certain type of person. And usually it would be the sort of choices you got in primary school, things that, trades and things that we were pushed towards, things like engines and servicing things and taking after your dad or taking after your mum. So basically preparing us for a life of being tradespeople, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it kind of prepared us for the fact that we're not going to go through university. And we're not going to get access to those top level jobs. In my mind, that's what I felt. And it wasn't really coming from me, but a lot of the people around me and my friends and things like that, they did things like go to the school their mums went to, they went to the secondary school their parents went to, or their friends went to. And often there's not that person saying to you, no, you should try definitely to get into this other school because you've definitely got the qualifications for that. You might think, oh no, they'll all be really posh there. I'll not fit in at all. And so, for me, I was one of those sort of types that wanted to break the mold, and I wanted to go to that school. And so although I didn't get my school that I really wanted to go to, I got the next one that was on my list and kind of used that as a platform to go from. Whereas the majority of my classmates went to the school their mum went to, or even my sister, she wanted to go down that route, go where her friends went. And I think from there, when you go to certain educational establishments, they have an idea of what you're going to be when you leave that facility. So it's almost like the grades you get there don't equate to the same grades you would get in another establishment. So there's a bit, I don't know whether it's a sort of entrenched sort of thing where they see that university and they think, no, it's not as influential as this one or what. But
I think you raise an interesting point in that many times we're growing up and our environments, although they can influence us, it's not that it's set in stone in terms of that path of what we're trying to do. And it seems like definitely we have similar experiences where you're growing up and there's sort of this sort of path that you're expected to take in many ways, but you wanted a bit more for yourself, and you had a bit of a vision. And I think that very common with like many entrepreneurs, I think from an early age, you definitely had that sort of spirit of having this vision, dreaming a bigger dream. I think is so important in order to break out of any box that you're in at any point in your journey. So it seems that just from childhood, and that continues throughout life, right? Where it could even be now where, certain, whether it's society, friends, ourselves are saying, are sort of dictating what's possible and what's not possible. And it's up to us to determine the path that we want to take and really design the life that we want to live. So that sounds really like, what you started to think and having that vision and that drive from a very early age.
Yeah. And, just quickly about that is, obviously then my thinking was quite flawed. I was young and I thought that was the way things were. But actually a lot of my friends that went to that other school, it's not about the school. It depends on who you are and what you want from your life. So I have now so many friends that went to all sorts of different schools all around the city and have become amazing things, so it really doesn't matter where that initial thing comes from, but it matters that you are who you are and that you keep on being that, you keep improving on that every day. And
I totally agree with you. It doesn't matter what your background is, where you come from. It's absolutely limitless in terms of what you can do, and you're the person that decides that. It could be so unfortunate when people don't realize that power that they have to drive into whatever direction they want to go into. especially from a career perspective, and definitely just from a life perspective. It's when we don't realize that, when we're in that bondage that we can't break out of, and usually that's all within the mind.
Yes.